AITA for secretly moving out before my parents forced me to raise my sister's kids? My name is Paige. I am 32 years old, and I work as an accountant at a commodities trading firm. It is nothing out of this world, but it is enough to make a living. I used to rent a small but comfortable apartment in Garland, and every couple of weeks, almost without fail, I would drive to dinner at my parents' house in Plano. It became a routine, one of those that weighs you down, but you fulfill them anyway. Half the time I would rather stay home, order takeout, and watch a show without talking to anyone. But family is family. That is what my mom repeats as if it were the law. My mom's name is Diane, and she is 58 years old. She works part-time at the local public library, and has a special knack for making everything sound like either a crisis or a party. There is no middle ground with her. My dad is Frank. He is 61 years old. He retired last year from the United States Postal Service, and since then his world consists of watching sports, checking his phone, and complaining about his blood pressure pills. And then there is my sister. My sister's name is Kimberly. She is 3 years older than me. She is 35 and has 3 kids. Haley, who is 12. Connor, who is 10, and Lily, who just turned 8. They are good kids. Yes, they are not bad. But together they are a whirlwind. Kimberly got divorced 2 years ago, and since then, everything has been a roller coaster. And here comes what almost no one says out loud. My parents pay half of Kimberly's rent, and I pay the other half. Kimberly rents in the east around Mesquite, near where the kids go to the local public school. The rent is about $800 a month. $400 comes from my parents, and $400 comes from me through a scheduled automatic transfer from my banking app. It is not that it hurts me to help my nieces and nephews. They did not ask for any of this. But sometimes I wonder if Kimberly would try harder to stabilize herself if she did not have 3 people holding her life together. At least twice a week, Kimberly would arrive at my apartment after work with all 3 of them, carrying backpacks and tired faces, and she had that look. You know the one? The I need a favor look, but she is going to say it as if she were doing you a favor. Hey Paige, I know it is a rush, but I have a date today and I need you to watch them just for a little while. What was I supposed to do? Tell her no and let her figure it out, knowing the ones who end up paying the price are my nieces and nephews? So I would cancel my plans, order pizza for 4, and spend the night breaking up arguments and trying to get them to do their homework while they looked like I was torturing them. Haley is calmer. She is already at that age where she locks herself in, puts on headphones, and answers you with monosyllables. But Connor and Lily, they are pure energy. They fight over everything, they are picky eaters, and they have batteries that seem to never run out. By the time Kimberly returned around 11 at night, I was exhausted, and they were finally asleep. You are the best sister, she would tell me while carrying a half-asleep kid. I do not know what I would do without you. And she would leave. And I would stay behind clearing plates, picking up toys, and wondering why I never said no. Weekends were worse. Kimberly and my mom would decide they needed to go to the mall or run errands. And suddenly I was already babysitting all day. They did not ask me. They informed me as if my time were a blank sheet of paper that anyone could use. I tried to talk about it before. Kim, I also need time for myself. Hey, why do not we make a plan, something with a schedule so it is not always last minute? And every time it was the same. Kimberly would start crying. She would say that being a single mom was extremely hard, that she just wanted to find someone to be a father figure for her kids. Then, my parents would chime in with their favorite speech that family comes first, that I was being selfish for not helping. Selfish, as if I had not been helping for 2 years. The first big clash happened on a Friday night. That Friday I left work, grabbed a quick bite, and headed to Plano. It was one of those afternoons when traffic on the highways gets heavy. Between the tollway and the neighborhood entrances, your life drains away. When I finally arrived, I saw Kimberly's car already parked in the driveway. An older SUV dented on one side, covered in school stickers and backpacks everywhere. Just seeing it gave me that feeling in my stomach that I was going to end up exhausted that day. I knocked on the door and heard the usual chaos. Kids screaming, my mom trying to establish order, and my dad with the TV at full volume. Paige is here. My mom shouted from inside, and as soon as she opened the door, she hugged me tightly. My dad looked up from his armchair and nodded. How is work, honey? He said without moving. The usual. Numbers do not lie, but people sure try to be clever. He chuckled quietly and went back to his business. I went to the kitchen and there was the whole scene. Kimberly trying to get Lily to stop pulling Connor's hair, while Haley sat at the counter with her phone in her hand as if nothing were happening. That is my sister Kimberly. She has always been one of those people who walk into a room and know they are being looked at. And she is also the kind of person who truly believes that the world revolves around her problems. Since the divorce, Kimberly had a very clear mission: getting a serious partner. She went out with one guy, then another. And whenever she had a date, she always showed up with the kids wherever she could drop them off, usually with me. That Friday, while we were eating our fried chicken with gravy and rice, Kimberly had a weird look on her face, sort of excited, as if she were keeping a secret. And she kept exchanging glances with my parents. Suddenly, she blurted out in an announcing voice, "Well, I have news." My parents smiled as if they already knew. "I met someone," Kimberly said. "His name is Derek and he really is different. We have been dating for about 3 weeks. "Oh, that is great, honey," my mom said happily. I waited. With Kimberly, there is always a catch. "The thing is," Kimberly continued, lowering her voice a little bit and turning to look at the kids who had already made a mess of their plates, "I have not told him about Haley, Connor, and Lily yet." My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. "Of course, I want to be sure we are doing well before bringing them into this," she said as if she were talking about introducing a dog, not her children. While she was saying that, Lily was throwing corn kernels at Connor, and Connor was about to explode. Kimberly did not even turn around. Then she went on as if nothing were wrong. "Derek invited me to go to a cabin in the hill country this weekend. He rented a little cabin. Something nice so we can relax. He says if we leave early it will take us about 2 or 3 hours. There was the punchline. Kimberly looked right at me. "I need you to watch them for me just this weekend, Paige. From Saturday morning to Sunday night." I let out a breath and put down my fork. "I cannot do it this weekend, Kimberly. Saturday is Jenna's birthday party. I confirmed weeks ago." A strange silence fell. Even the kids lowered their volume. Before Kimberly could answer, my mom chimed in. "Paige, honey, your sister is more important than a party." "A party?" I felt my face get hot. "Jenna is my best friend since college, and I am tired of being the one who always ends up watching your grandkids every time Kimberly has a date." Kimberly's eyes filled with tears. "I cannot believe you are doing this to me. I am being realistic. I watch them twice a week. I pay half your rent. When do I get to have a life?" "You are being selfish," my mom said dryly. "Kimberly needs to establish her personal life." "Well, she should tell Derek she has kids instead of hiding them." Kimberly turned white, then red, grabbed her purse, yanked the backpacks and left, almost dragging the 3 of them. Lily was already crying without understanding. I heard the car door slam, the engine starting, and then nothing. The house was left in silence with the living room clock ticking. And then the trial began. "Are you happy?" My mom said with a coldness that surprised me. "She is a single mother. She is going through something difficult. She deserves to find someone who will be a father to those children. And I deserve to have my own life." "You are being selfish, Paige," my dad insisted. "Family comes first." "Perfect. If her weekend is so important to you, then you guys watch Haley, Connor, and Lily." My mom quickly stammered. "I cannot. My back has been hurting all week. I hurt myself moving a bookcase." My dad raised his hands. "And the doctor told me to avoid stress. 3 kids for a whole weekend?" No. Right there I understood everything. It was not that it was too much overall, it was that it was too much for them. But not for me. They went on and on for about 20 minutes, taking turns throwing guilt at me, saying that I was ungrateful, that I did not know what responsibility was, that Kimberly had sacrificed everything for her kids, that the least I could do was help her be happy, and on top of that, not to make them look bad with the family. When they finished, I felt as if I had been run over. "Fine," I finally said with a tight throat. "I will watch them." "Oh, that is great," my mom said, relieved. "I knew you would listen to reason. You are such a good sister," my dad concluded. I drove home on autopilot. I arrived, closed the door, leaned against it, and the first thing I did was call Jenna. "Hey friend, I am not going to be able to make it tomorrow." "What? Why?" "Family issue. You know." "Are you okay?" "Yes. Or so I think." "I am sorry. I know it took a lot of effort to organize everything." Do not even worry about it. There will be other birthdays, she said, trying to sound calm. I hung up and stared at the wall. And what I thought was, will there be other friendships if I keep doing this? Saturday came too fast. At 9 in the morning on the dot, Kimberly knocked on my door with 3 suitcases, plastic bags filled with clothes, and a huge smile. You are an angel, she told me excitedly. I packed clothes for 2 days. Haley has snacks in her backpack. Oh, and Connor needs his inhaler if he gets upset. She did not even ask if I was ready. Everything was already dumped on me. That weekend was a disaster. Connor and Lily fought over everything. Haley was in a bad mood and constantly asked when her mom was coming back. They did not like anything I cooked. They complained about being bored, spilled juice, and filled the living room with toys, notebooks, and loose game pieces. My apartment looked like a daycare. By late Sunday afternoon, I was in the kitchen making sandwiches when I heard a loud thud. I ran to the living room. My television screen had a huge crack across it. Connor was standing there trembling with the remote control in his hand. I did not mean to, he said, his voice cracking. Lily pushed me and it slipped. That is not true. Lily yelled. He threw it at me first. I had bought my new flat-screen television after months of saving money, and there it was, ruined in a second. I took a deep breath so I would not lose my temper in front of them. I had to swallow my anger and keep going. I spent the rest of the day figuring out how to fix it and making sure they did not destroy anything else. On Sunday night, Kimberly arrived around 8. She walked in relaxed, smiling, as if she had had the best weekend of her life. How did it go? She asked, barely looking at the kids who were already putting on their shoes. They broke my TV. Kimberly made a grimace that lasted half a second. Oops, that is too bad, kids. And she shrugged. Well, let us go now because there is school tomorrow. That was it. No real apology. No, I will help you. No, how much will it cost? No, thank you for giving up your weekend. She took them away, and I was left alone with the broken television and the smell of spilled juice soaked into the rug. Couple of weeks went by. I took the television to a repair shop, and it took them several days to get the part. In the end, it cost me almost $400. It hurt to pay it, not just because of the money, but because of the feeling that my things had no value to my family. I went back to my routine, trying to make everything seem normal. And one day I ran into Rachel at the supermarket. Rachel is Kimberly's friend, but over the years we had gotten along well. She was one of the few who actually knew how much of a burden the kids were to me. Hi, Paige, she said awkwardly, as if she did not know whether to greet me or run away. Listen, I need to tell you something. I felt my stomach drop to the floor. What is it? I feel bad getting involved, but I think you need to know. Yesterday I met up with Kimberly, and she told me about her plan with Derek. What plan? Rachel looked around as if someone could hear us in the aisles. She wants Derek to move in with her, but she still has not told him about the kids. I froze. What do you mean she still has not told him? She says she is going to send them to you for a few months, just while he gets used to the idea and until she has him totally secured. Took me a second to react. Send them to me? For months? Rachel swallowed hard. Yes. And she says you can take care of them, that after all you work, but you can hire someone for the afternoons to pick them up from school, feed them, and so on. With my money. Well, yeah, she says she will be tight on money because Derek will be there. And since you do not have kids, it will not be a burden for you. I kept staring at Rachel as if she had spoken to me in another language. I thanked her as best as I could and finished my shopping on autopilot, but inside I was trembling. Kimberly wanted to leave her kids with me for entire months, make me pay for their care and food, and at the same time pretend to Derek that she was not a mom, as if my nieces and nephews were a nuisance to be stored away. That night I did not sleep, and the next one neither. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined coming home from work and finding 3 kids waiting for me, day after day. For months, I saw myself paying someone I could not afford while Kimberly played the perfect childless couple. At first, I thought about confronting her, calling her and expressing everything I had kept bottled up. But then I realized something. If I made a scene, they would turn it all around on me. My mom would cry about Kimberly's difficult life. My dad would talk about loyalty. Kimberly would play the victim. And I would end up babysitting again. So I decided to be smarter. The next morning I called my landlord, Mr. Henderson, a serious older man who owns several rental apartments. I had been there for 2 years paying on time without any issues. Mr. Henderson, it is Paige. I wanted to ask you if there is any way to end the lease early due to a family matter. As soon as possible. There was a silence. Paige, you have always been a good tenant, he finally said. If you hand over the apartment to me by next Friday at the latest and leave it in good condition, we can call it even. I already have someone interested. I hung up and felt something I had not felt in weeks. Relief. I had little time, but it was enough. During my lunch breaks, I started looking for apartments. I wanted one on the other side of the city, far away. Far enough so that Kimberly could not just drop by with 3 kids and a smile. I found one that worked for me. A 1-bedroom apartment in Frisco, around the park area. It was a ground floor unit without parking and without an elevator, but it was quiet and cost me about the same, slightly more affordable, and the landlady could hand it over quickly. I requested a few vacation days to pack and move. I did not tell anyone, not my parents, not Kimberly, not even Jenna. I started moving my things little by little like an ant, box by box, bag by bag, so that no one would notice a thing. By Thursday, I was completely settled into the new apartment. That night, I sat in the living room with Chinese takeout, still without pictures on the wall, and the phone rang. It was my mom. Paige, honey, she said with that weird voice she uses when she is acting. I wanted to invite you to dinner on Saturday. Your dad is going to make ribs. I already knew what it was. That was going to be the day they dropped Kimberly's plan on me, as if it were a family decision, not an imposition. Of course, I answered calmly. I will be there. On Saturday, I drove to Plano, knowing that dinner would probably be the last one, at least for a good while. I left early to avoid getting stuck in traffic from the start. Kimberly's car was already in the driveway when I arrived. Through the window, I saw Haley, Connor, and Lily running in the backyard while my dad tended the grill. Paige, my mom hugged me tightly. You made it on time. It is almost ready. We sat in the backyard at a long table. Outdoors, the kids behaved a little better because they had space to burn off energy. We ate normally on the outside until Kimberly, after a few minutes, wiped her mouth with her napkin and blurted out excitedly, I have amazing news. My parents looked at each other. Of course they knew. Derek and I decided to take the next step, Kimberly said, looking straight at me. He is moving in with me for a few months, kind of like a trial before discussing an engagement. Oh, what happiness, my mom said. Kimberly raised her hand as if asking for calm. The thing is, he is not quite ready for the full family thing yet. So I figured Haley, Connor, and Lily could stay with you for a while. I kept eating. Relax just for a few months, Kimberly added, now on a roll. And I know you work, so you could find someone to pick them up from school and watch them in the afternoons. My dad nodded as if it were the most logical thing in the world. Kimberly kept going, and then she dropped the line that gave her away. Besides, your apartment in Garland is relatively close for them. The school is on this side of town. It is not like it is another world. I nodded unhurriedly. And if it gets complicated in the mornings, she added, I will swing by early to pick them up. Do not worry. I knew that was pure talk, but she said it with impressive confidence. Once Derek sees how great things are with him, she continued excitedly. He will be ready to meet the kids and everything will fall into place. It is perfect. My mom enthusiastically chimed in. It is an opportunity for Kimberly to secure her future. And the kids adore you. It is for the good of the family, my dad added. I finished my last bite, wiped my hands, took a sip of water, and asked in a calm voice, and when were you planning to do this? Kimberly smiled. I was thinking next Saturday. Derek's lease ends at the end of the month, and we want to start off right, without any mess. Next Saturday, I repeated as if to confirm. Yes, in a week, my mom said, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Kimberly looked at me with that face that said I won. I know it is short notice, but you always know how to handle things, and well, it is not like you have anything important going on. I smiled. Sounds good to me. Kimberly lit up. Really? Oh, Paige, thank you. This is going to change our lives. The kids were distracted. None of them understood what had just been decided about them. We continued the afternoon as if nothing had happened. I helped clear plates and put things away. Kimberly would not stop talking about how she was going to make her apartment look more adult, removing kid stuff so Derek would feel comfortable. I will bring them early on Saturday with everything, she said. School clothes, uniforms, everything. Because they are staying during the week. Sure, I replied. And then I will give you the money for their babysitter. Once Derek and I are settled, she said with a lightness that made me laugh inside. Yes, I answered her. When I left, Kimberly hugged me as if I were her salvation. I love you, Paige. You are saving my life. I drove back to my new apartment, the one they did not even know existed, and smiled the whole way. Saturday was going to get interesting. On Saturday, already in my new place, I woke up early and made coffee. I sat by the window watching the neighborhood movement in the distance. People running, the day beginning. I knew exactly what was happening on the other side of the city. At 9 in the morning on the dot, Kimberly was going to knock on the door of my old apartment with 3 kids and enough luggage to stay for months. She was going to be excited, relieved, ready to start fresh with Derek, without the burden of her children. At 9:15 my cell phone started ringing. Kimberly. I let it ring. At 9:20 again. At 9:25 again. I turned the volume down and stayed with my coffee. By 10 I already had more than 10 missed calls and a bunch of messages. I opened one. Where are you, Paige? We are at your apartment and you are not opening. Another one. There is a note taped to your door with a phone number. We called and your landlord answered. He says you moved out. Another one. What is this? This is no joke. Derek is coming today. Then my parents started. My mom calling over and over. My dad texting, call me right now. Your sister needs you. At 11, Kimberly sent a huge text. I do not understand. Mr. Henderson says you moved out last week. Where are you? Derek is coming this afternoon with his things. The kids are scared. Answer me, please. I put the phone on silent and went for a walk in the park. I breathed. I walked slowly, the sun hit my face and I felt something strange, as if my body were loosening up after years of tension. When I got back I had more than 20 missed calls. The messages were sheer desperation now. Paige, please, I am begging you, I do not know what I am going to do. Derek just called, he is leaving now with his truck. I need you to take Haley, Connor and Lily right now. My future depends on this. Please do not do this to me. I made myself something to eat. I opened a book. I left the phone face down. By mid-afternoon, a message arrived from Kimberly. Very short. I hate you. At 6 my cousin Nicole called me. Nicole is Kimberly's age, but she has always been much more sensible. You can actually talk to her. Paige, thank you for answering, she said with a tight voice. I just hung up with your mom. What happened? I told her everything. About babysitting all the time. Kimberly's plan, the broken television, the rent. How my parents always took her side. Nicole stayed quiet for a long time. Paige, I had no idea things were that heavy. Nobody did, I told her. Because every time I tried to say something I was the selfish one. So you vanished? I moved. I am in another apartment. They are not going to find me because I do not want them to find me. Nicole let out a breath. And what is going to happen now? I do not know, I told her honestly. But I am never going to be Kimberly's free babysitter again. Good for you, Nicole said without hesitation. Seriously, good for you. 2 weeks later, Nicole called me again. You are not going to believe what happened with Derek. I finally got the whole story. I leaned against the wall. When Kimberly could not send the kids to you, she was trapped. Derek arrived with his truck ready to move in. And there were 3 kids, and he did not even know they existed. I felt something in my chest. Anger and sadness at the same time. Kimberly had to confess that she had lied to him, that she had children, and that she had hidden them all this time. And he got extremely angry. He told her he could not start a life with someone who hid something like that from him. He loaded his things back up and left. That same day did not surprise me. But my heart ached for my nieces and nephews. They did not deserve to feel like a secret. And Kimberly, how is she doing? I asked. Bad. She is calling everyone to get them to convince you to come back. But I will tell you something, Paige. The family is starting to realize. My dad asked why you were expected to raise Kimberly's kids when Kimberly is the mom. A few days later my mom called me. I was about to not answer, but I did. Paige, she said with an icy voice. We need to talk. I am listening. You destroyed your sister's life. Derek was perfect for her. And now he is gone because you refused to help your family. I took a deep breath. Mom. Kimberly destroyed her relationship by lying. It was not because of me. She was protecting her future. She was deceiving him, and she expected me to help her uphold that lie with my own nieces and nephews. You are removing yourself from this family because of your selfishness, my mom said with a harshness that hurt me, even though I already expected it. You left me out first when you decided my life was worth less than Kimberly's. Silence. What do you want then? She finally asked. I want you to understand that I am not the second mother to Kimberly's kids. I am not her backup. I am not the one who has to solve everything for her. I have a life too. So, you are never going to help with the kids again. I am never going to allow myself to be taken for granted again. My mom stayed quiet for a second. Then we have nothing more to talk about. I guess not. And she hung up. That night I got a text from Kimberly. You no longer exist to me. I never want to see you again. You ruined my life, and I am not going to forgive you. I stared at the screen without tears, just with a strange calm, as if something I had been carrying for years had finally dropped. I did something I had already been planning. I opened the banking app and canceled the automatic transfer I used to pay half of Kimberly's rent. For $100 that went out month after month as if it were my obligation. I took a screenshot of the cancellation and sent it to Kimberly with a simple message. If I am already dead to you, I guess you will not want my help with your rent either. Then I blocked her number. I blocked my mom. I blocked my dad for the first time in 2 years. My weekends were mine. I could make plans without constantly checking my phone. I could leave work without the fear of finding Kimberly at my door with 3 kids and a look of urgency. I could breathe. Jenna threw a little get-together for me weeks later to make up for the birthday I missed. She bought a cake and played soft music. You look different, she told me while we ate. Lighter. I feel different, I answered her, as if I could finally breathe. It has been 3 months since I stepped out of my family's daily life. I do not know when I will talk to them again, or if I will talk to them. A part of me misses my nieces and nephews. It hurts to think that they pay for adult fights, but I do not miss being used, I do not miss being blamed, I do not miss my time and money being worth less than Kimberly's whims. Nicole tells me a few things. Kimberly had to move to a cheaper apartment when she could no longer afford it. She is dating people again, but now at least she says from the beginning that she has kids. My parents watch the kids more often now that I am not available. Maybe someday we will fix it. Maybe Kimberly will realize what she did and ask for forgiveness. Maybe my parents will understand that loving your family does not mean handing over your entire life to them. But for now, I am learning something I was never taught at home. Putting yourself in a place of dignity is not selfishness, and it feels quite good. Comment. This story really hit close to home for me. I wanted to share a few thoughts with you because it made me reflect quite a bit. Setting healthy boundaries with family is never easy, but it can be one of the most loving things you do for yourself. I've learned that saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It just means you're finally respecting your own needs and time. Choosing your peace sometimes requires tough choices, and that's perfectly okay. Taking responsibility for your own happiness and well-being is such an important step. Be kind to your loved ones, but never forget to show that same kindness to yourself. I hope this encourages you to look honestly at the relationships in your life. You truly deserve to live with dignity and a sense of calm in your heart. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.